Test. Okay, that's working. Is this one still working? Okay, I guess it's good. Okay. Here we go. So, what are we working on yesterday? We started a project. I have all of these things closed. It's a file system, not a real file system, a virtual file system based on the basically just implementing the afero file system interface in Go, which opens up a lot of possibilities, including making it easier to actually implement file systems in various ways using network file system protocols like 9p, or doing something like Fuse, or just kind of using it in Go programs as an alternative to the main file system. I have plans to use this in programs and libraries that are already programmed the afero file system interface, namely Hugo, as a way to interact directly with a GitHub repository branch. This way, Hugo, which is a file, Hugo, which is a static site generator written in Go. It's very fast, very functional, extensible, all this great stuff. It's what I use for most static sites. I can actually use this without having to check out code from GitHub or push code, which means I can actually run this as a daemon, because then I'm going to wrap it up in a service that provides a web UI to Hugo, and so then you can kind of directly manipulate files in Git and publish them without having to touch any kind of actual local file system. So that's what I'm trying to do with this, but you could use this for a lot of other things because of the greatness of interfaces in Go. Yesterday, we got to the point of writing our implementation, mostly doing no ops, and focusing on doing a file directory read, so listing the contents of a repository or a directory in a repository by using a tool, in this case read directory, which works with an afero file system, which does all the typical things. It's as if it's working with the local file system, but it's not. It's working with GitHub. So we got to the point of implementing just reading directory entries, and we got a sense of how the GitHub API, as well as how Git objects are organized, kind of figuring out how all of these things kind of align to get this implementation. And I think today we actually have a pretty good idea of how to move forward. So let's see what's on our to-do. So we can read directories, we can't read files. So I think the next thing is to get this to read a file. And so we're testing it with the repository for this project, which is why there's a test directory in there with some dummy files. So we can read the file system, and then let's comment this out and instead do something like read all, read file. So data, we're kind of ignoring errors in this sort of prototype. And the file name will be test foo file. And we'll, I guess actually we don't need a nice pretty print. We can just I guess the easiest thing is just to write this to standard out. Let's see. Feel free to use chat and ask any questions along the way, or help me out. It was very helpful yesterday. Getting help from viewers. Let's see here. So open is only operating with the assumption that it's going to return a directory. So now we need to determine. It's interesting because for directory listing, you would iterate over the entries in our tree object, which we actually kind of get up front, the GitHub branch tree metadata, so all the file metadata. So we iterate over that when we want to get a directory, but I think we would also have to iterate over it in order to determine if a file exists. Yeah, so I guess maybe what we can do is iterate over everything. If it doesn't exist, return error. If it does exist and it's a file, return the contents. If it does exist and it's a directory, then we will run this existing code. So I think that's what we want to try and do. So that might involve, again, this is a prototype, so kind of don't worry about certain inefficiencies. Let's see. Found is false if e get path. Okay, so we also normalize the paths here, specifically for directories because we use path_dir. I guess we can just also move this up. Okay, yeah, if path equals, oops, we'll call this normal name. Normal name. If not found, I guess we'll return an error. Maybe, I don't know what error open typically returns. Maybe Afero has some errors that we can use. Error file not found. That's nice. Actually, we should do find the entry that we're looking for, which is a, oh boy, I think it's a GitHub tree entry. See, is this returning? Okay, not pointers. So I'm going to do that. I was going to do a check for nil instead of doing a found, but I guess I can do it as a pointer, why not? Entry equals reference to E. If entry is nil, okay, now we can say if entry get type is a blob, then we'll do one thing and return, otherwise we will assume it's a directory. We might want a proper switch and error on some other type. I don't think GitHub actually has any other types. Blob and tree or commit. I mean, a tree shouldn't actually have a commit in its entries, so. Blob. Okay, so then we have to return a file object, and we're actually, instead of implementing our own file that implements the afero file interface, we're actually using the built-in memory map implementation. Even though it kind of doesn't give us everything that we want, it's kind of helping us bootstrap, I guess, this process. So yeah, input the file. We want that to return else if tree or directory, and we can kind of run everything as we had before. This is probably going to look something like this. Where we create a new file. Create file. I guess I can just use name. Maybe we should use normal name. I'll use name. I don't think it actually matters. This gives us some file data. We probably want to set the mode at the very least from the tree, which I wonder what it defaults to, but I think we determined that most file modes for files are always the same when they're stored in Git. And then let's see, create a file, and then we're going to write to it. I guess we can just do like an f write. No, it's not a writer yet. We need a handle, kind of multiple layers. I guess that's what this is. Which, yeah, I'll call this FD. This can be F, and then we can write some bytes. For now, we'll assume that works. Again, this is kind of placeholder thing, so we're not worrying too much about error handling. We're gonna kind of replace stuff. We can kind of assume if we're writing to an in-memory file that it's gonna be fine. We're gonna write it. Oh, we also want to do a seek 0, 0. But what are we going to write? We actually need to get the contents. We don't have the contents, so we can grab the contents with, instead of doing a, fetch the blob data, we can use the contents API, which is a little different. It's limited to, I think, 1 megabyte. We can replace this with something that actually, oh, Daniel, hey, thanks for joining. I didn't see you there. Your chat's in here, it just doesn't show up yet. I guess it won't ever show up. And get the contents for this. We have a reference to GitHub client. Maybe we should do blob stuff now just to get that code out of the way, because yeah, blob, 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 blob. So in this case, let's use a git. Yep, git blob. Oh, I don't have a context. We didn't really set this up to do that. I guess we'll just do a background context. Or maybe this is what to do is for. Is to do just an alias for background context? I've never used it, but I think that's kind of what it is. Non-nil empty context code should use context to do when it's unclear which context to use or is not yet available, not been extended to accept context. Yeah, this is perfect. I was kind of surprised when I first saw that. That's what it was for. Daniel, what are you working on? Let's see. Do fs. Wait, I thought I had. Okay, yeah. User. Fs repo. And then entry get SHA. I imagine this is going to give us, actually, what does it give us? How much do you work on glitch versus whimsy? I'm actually eventually working on something similar to glitch, but cooler. Kind of building up to that. Although glitch is very cool. Let's see. I especially like not just the design and aesthetic around it, but the culture and the brand and all that stuff that you guys are fostering around it. Very community, very sort of passion driven as opposed to strictly a business platform. 40 hours a week, that's a full-time job. So we're going to get a blob response and an error that I think we'll ignore for now. Maybe we won't. This is one of those things where it actually might be really helpful. And a blob has it does not actually. I totally thought this thing actually would decode stuff. The true promise of computing for people. See, that's what I'm going to be getting at too. Who knows? Maybe we'll become fierce rivals. Let's see, get content. Should have the GitHub Go or Go Doc. Oh, no, I thought our code dot. Let's give me that. GitHub API. This is terrible because it doesn't. There we go. Yeah, I mean, but you're working for like a company with, money and business intentions. Gotta have that freedom. Okay, so this doesn't actually decode it. So I guess I have to decode it. I feel like we decoded something somewhere already. Down here. Yeah, whimsy space. I mean, I'm very goal oriented. I think even my games are very like, oh, I'm building up to this thing that I want to do. Just related, actually. So let's see, blob get content, decode string. What am I doing? I'm trying to get this to show me the signature for a decode string because I don't know what it's actually returning. It's because I'm not importing. Yeah. The other day this wasn't auto importing, but okay, yeah, bytes. We'll say B. Blob content, and then write the bytes. And that could work. Maybe this works. Am I missing anything? Okay, let's see if we can get it to... Hello, is that what's in foo file? It is. Let's look in test file 1. Cool. And then of course we know we can read directories, so that's reading files. We'll delete files. So we're going to delete files using the content API because it's probably a little bit simpler. Even though we're going to have to do all the crazy stuff for some other scenarios. Delete, no, content. Delete a file. Content path. Message to blob shaw. I guess, okay, so we have to make sure it exists first. So we might want to do like a lookup. Kind of helper thing. Right, something like fuck GitHub FS find entry, and it could be a pointer to an entry, and if it's nil then we don't have it. And this can do exactly this. Trees, we need normal name. Guess we don't need a break, we can just return it. Which means we don't need this. We'll just return nil. It's kind of funny when you refactor this function into some code into a separate function, how sometimes it will simplify the code more than just having that abstraction. Like the implementation is slightly simpler because you can return and stuff like that. So now you need to do entry, find entry name. Okay, I guess we're gonna delete some files from the repository, which we can only do by checking the repository on GitHub. So, yeah. What's our repository? What am I looking for? Repos, contents. So, somewhere in here, I need to do client repositories, and then delete what? Repository, delete file? Content response, that's interesting. Context, again, we can do to do. Owner, this is fs user, fs repo, owner options. What does this take? GitHub repository content file options. Repository content file options. And I want a normal name again. What does this return? A GitHub response and a repository content response. Two kinds of responses. Whatever. We'll just do this. And then I guess just return error. Who cares about the response? What do we get on that response? Just some updated tree data. Yeah. I'm assuming this is pointer to a string. God. I mean, I understand why we do that, but string s string pointer to a string return pointer. Yes, reference to s. I mean, I guess you could do parens string. Let's test that. Playground. Golang. Play.golang. Do we get a reference to you by doing that? Nope. Why not? What if we do this? That does work. It's kind of obnoxious that you have to do that. A lot of APIs doing optional things by having pointers to strings. But, oh well. Oh, maybe, no. The struct could have some setters or something for that, but I'll just do this. When we have commit messages, why don't we do something like automatic commit from GitHub fs for now as a placeholder. Message string commit message. Okay, what else? Shab file being replaced. That's why we did the entry fs. Was it find entry name if entry is nil, then return, I guess again, error file not found. Otherwise, let's see, string entry get SHA. What else? Default is repositories. Default branch, usually master. We actually know what branch this is for. FS branch. What else? Optional. No, committer. Who cares? I don't know what these default to. The author section is optional. It's filled with the committer information if omitted. If the committer information is omitted, the authentication user is okay. Yeah, that's fine. Emojis. Oh god. I would love to. The problem is picking the emojis. Is this the emoji I should use? I think I can copy and paste. Goes like, oh, Unicode. Doesn't look the same as in chat, but it's fine. So I think that's it. Yep, we don't care about that. Although we should probably, I'm assuming the response is, oh, it's not even like a full tree. So we'd have to like get the tree, update the tree. We set up a lock on this, right? I guess we should start using that. So the response has a tree, but not like a full tree, just a reference to a tree. Oh, we get entries? Maybe though we only get those entries if like the expanded option is set. I forget how all that works. Expanded. Whatever. Because I feel like this is going to be empty. If their example is giving me there's so many things. It's not giving me a full tree. I don't expect it's actually going to give me a tree. I guess we could do something like have this update tree be method update tree. It does something like I guess use this SHA. Let's take a SHA. But we probably don't want to lock inside this. We want to lock on the outer functions that need it. Let's see, get branch commit, SHA. So we know the SHA, we want to do this. Something like this. FS tree error. I guess. And we can do this. context to do fs user, fs repo, SHA, and return. So here we can do error equals update. Do we have our object yet? Yeah, gh fs update tree hash. I guess we can just do this. Yep. So open should fs lock defer fs unlock. Let's do that down at delete. So tree get SHA fs update tree. We're gonna do this. And then we can do this. Okay. It's building. So let's delete file 2. What? Client. I don't think there's like a top level thing because we could just say fs remove test file 2 error. So we'll comment that out. And I guess we'll print the error. And we'll see what this does. No error. To delete the file. It deleted the file. And we got the emoji in there. So delete seems to work. Remove a directory path and any children it contains. That's kind of okay, so we find the entry and maybe make sure that it's a directory. Does remove all work on files? It says path, but a path can be a file. Removes everything. I guess we can just call remove if it's a file, and otherwise do something else. I guess we'll need to unlock again, but unlock before calling remove if we need to call remove. Which means we can't do that yet. We can do this. And then if entry get type equals blob and fast new unlock and remove. Otherwise, defer lock. It's a directory, and we have all the entries, so we can I guess if we were to iterate over all the entries and do a request for each, maybe that's what we should do at this point, being a prototype, instead of doing like a single commit for the entire removal. Let's write a note. Remove all files is commit. We do a lot of unlocks if we're doing a remove. Maybe we should wrap this in like a lowercase. Yeah. That would make this simpler. So I'm going to iterate over all entries, I guess. E range fs tree entries, and then path. We want to put a kind of normalize it even more. Strings trim suffix. If there's already a slash at the end, remove it, because we're going to put one on the end to make sure that there is always one. This way we can do if strings has prefix get path normal name. Then we'll remove it, I guess. Get path. And if there's an error, return an error. No name. Who doesn't like name? Path. Okay. I guess we could try and get rid of the whole test directory. It's kind of scary. It could delete everything. Let's try and do foo first. Foo is gone. To commit aim files and removes, so we can pull And then we can make those some more files. Test bar, touch, test bar, touch. Now I'm testing it with directories. And get rid of all test. I'll leave that there. What? I guess I should use normal name. Oh boy. Did it delete anything? I'm trimming the prefix. I guess also trim the suffix up here. This is I want basically. Although I might as well just do that. Whoa. Test bar is not a file. There are no files to delete. Just delete the files and the directories will be gone. So get type not equal tree. Even though I think it's already deleted everything. Nope. That's good. This might be more clear. Yep. Test no longer exists. And now we have no test files. Let's see. Kind of don't want to do this because then you have to look up all the flag stuff. I mean, for the most part, it should just do this. Let's see. These are basically no ops, so I don't even know why this needs to be done. There might be a case where you make a directory and then test if the directory is there, because that's what you would have on a local file system. So once we replace this with kind of our own inner file system, file tree implementation instead of using mem, we'll probably want to actually do this. But until then, all right, what else we got? Kind of want to, like I said, do that last. We did remove all, rename, we have to do tree stuff. This is a no-op. This would be, I think the only time this is significant is when you're changing to an execute, changing to make something executable, which would require a tree change. So tree change. This one should be easy. What do we have here? We can do stat. We don't need to get the set mode. Can we set the file size? Maybe we can't set the file size. Set. No. Well, we could just fetch the file. Again, it's not efficient, but it will do the right thing for now. So basically, it's the same thing as open. I guess we could just open and then properly. As an interface. File stat. Oh, I guess just do that. We should probably test that. Something like file info. See, apparently we get everything. What is all this crap? I went too far. Yeah, file info, and then it gives us the internal structure, which has all the data as well. But in theory, mod time could be the command, but I don't want to do that yet. Directory falls. Not good enough for me. Because we have to do the tree change stuff. Then we'd be done. This we can wait until after that. Writing files. Oh shit. That's true. If we do an open and we have a file, if we write to it, it doesn't actually. It kind of points to how we will have to do like our own file implementation. I guess we do tree stuff then. So I think maybe for now I just have this wrap open because why not? Can't really do any of those things anyway. So other than deleting and renaming, this is kind of a read-only file system since we can't write to files. Okay, tree changing. Create a tree. Take nested entries as well if both a tree and a nested path modifying that tree are specified. Both a tree and a nested path modifying that tree are specified, it will override the contents of the tree with new path contents and write a new tree out. I don't totally follow that. File referenced mode. I don't know why there would be a commit. SHA-1 of the ID of the object in the tree. Content of the file. Oh, I can do SHA. So I don't actually have to, because we're not changing. Yeah, we're not changing file contents, we're renaming. So we're just base tree. Show where the tree you want to update. If you don't set this, commit will be created on top of everything. Yeah, we don't want that. So this would create a tree, but it wouldn't do a commit. So we create the tree, get that SHA, right? And then what do we do? Create a commit, SHA of the tree, object, parents. Well, from the previous head commit, I just assumed that because we have a tree, it just might not be latest tree. I probably need to update the tree before doing that. Right, there's like a FS tree, but that could be old. But that would have a SHA that I could use. But you're right, so I can update the tree. Actually, how does our update work? It takes a SHA of a branch. So I'd actually do this again. So get the branch again, update the tree. Write this down. Get branch with latest tree SHA. Actually, that would give me the SHA. I don't need to get the tree, although I do want to get the tree because I'm going to be copying its contents. So update FS tree, and then create a tree based on FS tree with modification. And then so create it, and then create a tree with the API, and then create a commit. We've got a message. I'm assuming, okay, this is weird. So my commit points to a tree. Oh, here it is, the SHA of the commits that were the parent of this commit. I guess the branch, when I get the branch, would have the latest commit, and that would be the parent. Can you give an example of what different approaches? And obviously JavaScript and Go, but yeah, of course you've read this. You wrote this a long time ago for all the Pixie stuff. Yeah. Let's see if I get a branch. What am I using to get a branch? Repositories get branch. Branch gives us the latest commit. Parents of this commit. Okay. Create a commit with branch commit SHA. So you get the branch. So let's do this again. Yeah. I could always transpile this to JavaScript. Branch context to do user repo branch. I do need to do some walking. This is just return error. B is branch. Get branch with the latest tree shaw. That look like this. Probably want to do that. See, update. This is FS. Now create a tree. So I'm guessing FS client git create a tree takes base tree and entries. So I need to base tree. And that would be this tree, right? Get shaw. And then I could do entries, FS tree, entries. I want a shallow copy. I also have to modify, so I might as well just iterate over all of them. An array of GitHub tree entries. Let's see. Entries equals entries E. However, if E get path equals old name, I guess I need to normalize those. Should normalize it. Trim prefix. Normal old. Old name, new name, normal name. Get path equals normal old path string new name. There's no like current directory in this, so it's always going to be an absolute path. Okay, so now we have entries with an entry that was changed if the path was the old and that path becomes the new. I don't think we have to do anything else. Let me make sure that path mode type SHA We don't want content. We have a SHA. Is that what this returns? Yes. Maybe I should type SHA content. Clear out any of the stuff that is not relevant. Like content should definitely be nil. URL should be nil. What else did it give us? Size. Path mode type SHA. Path mode type SHA. Okay. So this will give us a tree, which is probably not recursive. So I shouldn't replace it, but I should use that to then update the tree again, I guess. That does this. Then we need to create a commit with the branches commit SHA. Client get create commit. Didn't fix these. To do fs user fs repo context to do fs user fs repo. Oh, this is a commit object. So I will make a new commit. What do we have in it? Create a commit. Message. Wait. Message. Yep. String commit message. Tree is SHA, the object this commit points to. That's weird. I mean, I guess that means I can just do this. Parents. GitHub commit. What did I want? Parents. Shit. I guess branch. Oh damn. Repository commit. It's not a commit. What's the difference? That maybe? Oh, it's going to return a commit, which I guess I'll throw away. Don't like that, huh? I'll just dereference you. What? Oh. It's a lot of code just to rename something. I guess, let's see if this works. Maybe we'll rename license to license.txt. Nope. Mm. 231. It did not like something here. Hard to tell because it's not very clear since we're passing these like pointers to objects instead of the Sean shit. Are you sure there's not just tree? Tree. Creek. It must not be nil. It's fine. Let's see what it's doing. Commit parents. This should not be nil though. Git commit. Somehow that's different than a normal commit. .108. Oh. Commit parents. That's this. Dereferencing the parent or it's dereferencing the Shaw? I think it's string. So it's getting a string. So this doesn't exist. I find it hard to believe. Give us B. How odd is that? I guess because it's just using it as a data structure for this data. So I should somehow be setting up a new commit with the SHA from the repository commit. Okay. Sure. How about SHA string get commit get SHA. Oh, I guess I could even do this. No. Do this. Yeah. Nope. SHA. Yeah. I feel like we should assert if there's no commit. Although we do the same thing here. Whatever, we can make this more defensive later. Right. Did it work? No. Why didn't it work? It's like created a commit. Commit.tree SHA, which has a SHA tree. Huh. Oh. What am I missing, Daniel, after I create a commit? Do I need to update do something else? Like update the reference or something? Yeah, kind of a ton of stuff to change. So update reference. And this is a SHA of what? I'm guessing a commit. Okay. I'll do that. Here's the commit. And then fs client get update ref, perfect, context to do. This is so much stuff just to rename a file. It's ridiculous. Do I want to force? Yay. I guess we'll do not. We won't force. It wants a GitHub reference. What the hell is that? GitHub reference. What do we got in here? Like a SHA or what? Ref. I don't know. What is it? What does it really want? I hate it when it's taking these data structures that are sort of generic, where it doesn't use all the fields. Update ref. Yeah, okay. I will not force. I guess we have to look at the code to see how this library works. It's silly. Okay, so it's getting it from ref object SHA, so I have to create a whole like little object tree here. It's kind of obnoxious. Object. GitHub object. Nope. Object has SHA. I don't know why it's not letting me say SHA. Okay. Okay, reference. Oh, get object. Okay. Get object. SHA string. What is this for again? FS user. No, repo. Update ref. So it's saying owner repo reference. Ref path is ref, so I need to set ref on reference. It's kind of annoying that you have to read the code to understand how to use this library. Okay, so this is the commit. Actually, I should be able to just do this. And maybe I have a reference on the branch. Get name. Here's just the name of the branch. Is that a reference? Yeah, so refs whatever, refs some branch name. So this would be name because it wants a pointer, and then we'll get back a reference and a response and an error. We don't care about any of that except for the error. Okay. Oops, reference does not exist. Okay. And, oh, is it like, let me read, get data again. So references are heads branch, that's it. String heads. Ugh. Okay, now it'll work. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Okay. It didn't remove. Right, I went through entries. We got to the old one, it would have been license. I changed the path and added it to entries. So it should not have been listed. The original should not be there. Empty base tree? Why? Oh, because it's gonna like combine it with this tree or something? Because only the commit needs the parent. Maybe we should look at like git internals, rename a file, because I'm sure it says something about how it renames. Maybe in here it says what it does. It does not say what it does. Git equivalent for rename. Nope. I'll try doing it without the reference to the base tree. Yeah. Good shot. Base tree. Empty string. Well, I need to delete that. New file now. Can I do that here? Cool. Okay, so what do we got? It did it. Oh, I don't think I would have figured that out very quickly, so thanks. Well, now we know how to do the obnoxious task of renaming a file. What else needed a tree change? Open file, remove, rename, chmod. I think I'm going to defer this because this is really only important when you want to like change a file to an executable. And my immediate use cases do not need to do that. So at this point, we have all the basic, we have actually everything implemented except for writing to files, which is kind of a big deal, I would think. I wish we could do more and plug this into something as a read-only file system and see what happens. I mean, I could start the Hugo thing and have it use this to read files in, and then have it still write to the local file system as like a first step, just to kind of see that it works enough to be thrown into Hugo. Let's see. So to do that, I would create a simple Hugo site, put it in a repo, and then point this at it, and then put this file system into Hugo as the input file system. I guess I should also probably do the library build of Hugo with the local file system just to make sure that works. So I'm going to skip all the command line stuff and use Hugo as a library. I wonder if there's a GitHub repository of an example. Hugo site. Hugo basic example. I wish I could see this. I guess I'll grab it. Hugo basic example, and then I should be able to write Hugo. And that created a public directory. Which I guess I can just serve that up with Python. Why does it not have an index? Seems very odd that this example site does not have HTML. Oh, do I need a theme? I guess that's the problem, is it doesn't have a theme. Clone the Hugo themes. Do I want all the themes? I don't think so. Is there just like a site that I can pick? What's good? Beautiful Hugo. Beautiful Hugo. Recursive. I guess I'll run a server. Oh, I don't want to pull all these themes. Themes, and then what was beautiful Hugo? Where's the repo? How does this not point to a repo? Serving on 1313. Okay, this is the Hugo site. If I do this without the server, does that work? Public Python 8000. Ugh. That's odd. That's odd, but it's kind of good enough. I don't know why stuff is missing or what's missing. I guess the base URL in config was not set. Config base URL is localhost 8000, and can I set the theme in the config? I would imagine. Silly. I'll just try theme. Hugo without a theme. And then public HTTP. Okay, now it works. So an example site generated with Hugo. I could now try and write a thin Hugo that just builds and does the same thing, but is driven by a library that I can control the file system objects. So let's see. Come up on 2 hours. Let's see. 48. I could do. Let's see how fast I can do this. Let's do a mini Hugo. Mini Hugo. New file. Main.go. Package main. Go run mini Hugo main. Cool. Remove the public directory. And then you have to go look at Hugo code. Hugo. Commands Hugo. And I know I want to use Hugo lib. Should make sure I get that. And Hugo command c.build. It's in here somewhere. Here we go. Oh yeah, there was copy static. Copy static and build sites. Static source FS, destination FS. Sync or sync publish directory. We're using base FS to sync source to root. What is publish directory? I'm guessing that's public. Publish directory. This is a good static source of this. Good static source. Theme directory, static directory. Where's source come from? CFS source. This is kind of, I'm gonna have to do recreating some of this stuff. It's kind of boring. I don't think I can do that right now, but this is definitely the next step. First, getting it to do the equivalent of its copying static files, so anything from the theme and the static directory. It uses this library called fsync, which is not necessarily what you think. It takes some file systems and will just copy everything. And so that will write all the static files. And that would be a good step, because that also uses file systems. And then build sites actually does all the Hugo build stuff. Let me see if I can find that. Build sites. Create new Hugo sites. And then deps config is like, here's all the file systems and stuff. And then Hugo build. And that would generate all the files. So it almost seems like it's easier to just not copy static files. Let's try doing it without static files and see what happens. Being a jerk again and not auto completing or auto importing. JSX patch, who cares? Oh, it's thinking, it's trying. What? I don't understand. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is undefined. What do we want here? This is a deps config. So let's see, what was that? Is a dereferenced. Okay, so I can do deps cfg. See if that pulls up anything. Undefined deps. Hugo deps. Did it not get that? I should have just said get all of Hugo. Okay. It still doesn't like it. Deps. How's that? Okay. So deps config has a bunch of stuff, and I'm not entirely sure what needs to be set, but we can look at this one. I think initialize config, Hugo load config. Load config. File systems. Create logger. Config base URL. Okay, we do want it to load config. And the config file is shit, I don't know. I think we want a lot of this. Maybe not all of it, but oh dear. Team directory. Okay. Start deleting stuff. Config file. I'm gonna make this maybe like an argument. Or better yet, for now, just like Hugo config environment variable. Source. I don't know what source is yet. Relative source path. I'll do get env Hugo source. We don't care about this. I don't care about a lot of this. Anything that sets C. If base URL, that's in the config, so, and the theme. Maybe we want this. Working directory. Okay, working directory. I guess we can do that. Destination. Publish directory. would just say public, right? Render to memory. Nope. These should all be like defaults. I shouldn't have to set any of this. File system. Yeah. Undefined source. Source. Okay. Initialize config. This is config. No, where's source? FS. Oh, how is this set? I don't know if this is set anywhere. Whatever. I don't know what this is going to do, but we'll try it. We need to set Hugo's source is this directory, and Hugo config is also config.toml. I think this is what it wants. Boom. Okay, so it made a sites thing. I guess, and then build. Build. Go build. And there's a create sites from config, watching, false, print stats. Okay. Each if error nil log fatal error. Do the same here. Error. Watching false, print stats, false. Okay, let's see what this does. Oh, created a public directory. Oh, I think that did it. Public. Yeah, it doesn't have any of the static files, but it did generate the site. So this is sort of a minimum using Hugo as a library. And this might be a good place to stop because the next time I can just plug in the file systems and see that that works, and then go back and refactor it into the fully writable one, and then come back to this and have it generate a site and push right into GH pages. Okay, cool. Probably work on this more later this week. Yeah, thanks, Daniel. I know you've kind of done this before, so it's helpful to have you around. All right, later.